Supreme Court is releasing a landmark opinion today on presidential immunity impacting President Trump. Now, this comes after President Biden faces fallout from his poor debate performance last week. Let's get right to Good Day's Robert Moses, who joins us in studio this morning with more. Robert, good morning.
Tashani, good morning to you. The ruling from the Supreme Court we expect at about 10 o'clock this morning or shortly thereafter. It could be the most momentous in recent memory. It certainly affects the presidential race, which was thrown into upheaval after last week's debate.
Today, the Supreme Court is set to release its most anticipated ruling of the term, whether former President Donald Trump is immune from prosecution for his role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. A ruling in his favor would wipe away one of the 4 criminal cases brought against him. But even if the justices say he is not immune, the ruling would likely come too late for him to stand trial before the election in November. Later today, his likely opponent, President Joe Biden, returns to the White House from Camp David following the president's widely panned performance at Thursday's debate.
Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Democratic surrogates fanned out across the Sunday talk show circuit in a show of support for the president.
If they weren't engaged in a little bit of hand-wringing, they wouldn't be Democrats. Joe Biden has demonstrated, not over 90 minutes, but over the last 4 years, the character and the mettle of the man that he is.
Maryland's Governor Wes Moore implored voters to judge the president not on his age, but his record.
The number 81 is an important number, but so is watching historically low unemployment rates, and I do not think that people should lose sight of that.
Still, there are signs of worry. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did not mince words.
It was not a good night. Let's face that in terms of performance for Joe Biden. I'm not abandoning Joe Biden right now for any speculation.
It was hard to miss Pelosi's qualifiers right now, but there are no signs the president is going anywhere. He huddled with family members over the weekend who urged him to stay in the race and keep fighting, according to the New York Times. His son Hunter was one of the strongest voices, the paper reported. Yet the discussions about whether the president should remain at the top of the ticket persist.
There are very honest and serious and rigorous conversations taking place at every level of our party.
Biden campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon is set to hold a conference call with the campaign's National Finance Committee late this afternoon. This call is seen as part of an effort to calm donors who have been rattled. Dillon has been busy doing damage control since immediately after that debate. Tashani?
A lot on the line there. Robert, thank you for that report.